If you're a CBSE student and you've got your sights set on the 2026 board exams, then you really need to listen up. Everything you thought you knew about prepping for the boards is about to get a major shakeup. And we're here to break down the 6 biggest shifts heading your way. So let's dive right in.
All right, so CBSE just rolled out some pretty massive updates that are going to change everything about the board exam experience. And I mean, we're not talking small tweaks here. This is a complete overhaul of your answer sheets, your schedule, and even the way they're going to test what you know. So let's break it all down.
Yeah, like I said, this is a big deal. We're looking at 6, that's right, 6 major shifts that are going to completely change the game. And don't worry, we're going to walk through every single one so you'll know exactly what's coming. Okay, first things first, let's talk about what's changing inside the exam hall. This is all about the new layout for your main subjects, and believe it or not, the actual answer sheets you'll be using. This stuff is absolutely crucial, so you're going to want to pay close attention here. So first up, say goodbye to the science and social science papers as you know them. The new format is a total rethink, and honestly, it's going to demand a whole new strategy from you, both in how you study and how you tackle the exam itself. So, as you can see, your papers are getting broken down into these very distinct sections. For science, you've got biology, chemistry, and physics. For social science, it's history, geography, political science, and economics. Now, the really big deal here, especially for you science students, is that you're going to get separate answer booklets for each section, one for biology, one for chem, and one for physics. That means organization is going to be key. Now, this whole new booklet thing immediately brings up a big question, right? In the stress of an exam, it's easy to get mixed up. So what happens if you mess up and, say, write a physics answer in the chemistry booklet? And the answer to that is, well, it's pretty brutal. Your answer will simply not be checked. That's it. 0 marks. It's considered an incorrect attempt. So let this be a huge warning. Double-checking, even triple-checking, that you're writing in the right booklet is now just as critical as knowing the answer itself. Okay, so that's what's happening in the exam. But the changes don't stop there. Let's move on to the new rules that apply to you outside the exam hall. All right, this next one is a biggie, and it's all about attendance. CBSE is getting serious about being in class. You will now need a minimum of 75% attendance, not just in 10th, but in 9th grade too, just to be eligible to sit for the boards. No exceptions. So yeah, those days of skipping class, they're pretty much over. Now, for change number 4, there's actually some good news, especially if you're anxious to jump into 11th grade. You'll now be able to get provisional admission to 11th grade based on how you do in your pre-boards. This is great because it means your school can get the next year started earlier. But, and this is important, remember that provisional means it's not final until your actual board results come out. And speaking of timing, the entire exam schedule is getting a makeover. Look at this timeline. Both your practical exams and your main board exams are now set to kick off in February. This is a really big deal because it means your whole study plan needs to shift. You've got to be ready to hit your peak performance a whole month earlier than students in the past. All right, we've saved the biggest change for last. Let's talk about the new paper pattern. And believe me, this isn't just a minor adjustment. This is a complete philosophical shift in how CBSE is going to test you. So what's the big idea? It's all about moving away from rote memorization. CBSE doesn't just want to know if you can memorize a chapter. They want to see if you can actually use that knowledge to solve problems. It's a huge shift from what do you know to what can you do with what you know. And this chart right here breaks it all down for you. Just look at it. That massive chunk, a full 50% of your paper, is now going to be competency-based questions. So what does that mean? It means a lot more multiple choice questions, case studies, and source-based questions. Stuff where you have to think critically and apply concepts, not just spit back facts. Then you've got another 20% for other objective questions. That leaves only 30%, that little blue slice, for the traditional short and long answer questions you're probably used to. So the takeaway here is pretty clear, right? The whole point is to reward critical thinking and real problem-solving skills. Memorizing definitions from a textbook just isn't going to cut it anymore. You'll need to show that you can actually analyze a situation and use what you've learned. Oh, and one more thing that goes hand in hand with this new paper pattern, a new grading system. They're moving to a 9-point grading scale, which will range from A1 all the way down to E. And what's kind of cool is that your mark sheet will show both your actual marks and your grade, so you get a more detailed picture of how you did.
Whew. Okay, so that was a lot. We've gone through 6 huge changes that are basically rewriting the rule book for the board exams. So the big question is, why does all this matter to you, and what can you do about it?
Okay, so let's boil it all down. What are the key takeaways for you? First, and most importantly, you've got to shift your focus from memorizing to truly understanding the concepts. Second, you have to be disciplined about your attendance. And when you're in that exam hall, pay super close attention to the instructions. And finally, remember that your pre-board performance now carries a lot more weight. It's basically your early ticket into 11th grade.
Look, this is a whole new ballgame for the CBSE board exams. The focus is clearly shifting towards rewarding skills that actually matter in the real world: critical thinking, problem solving, and a deep understanding of subjects. It's a big challenge, for sure, but it's one designed to make you better prepared for whatever comes next. So the only real question left is, are you ready for it?